In the meantime, speaking of Mahomes, I have been talking on this show now for the last 2 weeks about how the appropriate comparison for Mahomes is Michael Jordan as he approaches the three-peat. Yesterday, Mahomes was asked what it's like to be compared to the likes of Jordan and another legend, Kobe Bryant.
More than anything, is you see the competitors that they are, is that they're going to do whatever it takes to win. That's what you have to be in order to have success in professional sports, is a competitor, someone that's going to put in the work every single week. And watching them and listening to the things that they talk about, that's helped shape my career on how I have to work. And obviously, that's a long ways, I feel like, still for me to go to be mentioned with those guys, but I'll try to do whatever I can to be close enough as I can be.
That's as good an answer as you can possibly have, right?
He gives good answers.
How are you supposed to answer the question? People are comparing you to Michael Jordan. Perfect. But the reality is the comparison is appropriate.
Yes.
Right? Because
we're getting there.
He is right there at the top of the list of the best players, and he is right there at the top of the list of the most inevitable winners, the impossible to defeat champions. Yeah. And that's what Michael Jordan was, and that's what Mahomes has become.
Right. You remember, I mean, there were times when you thought the other team was better. The other team was better tonight. But this team had Jordan, and that's why they won the game. And Mahomes has become that guy to the extent that anyone can be in the NFL, where there's 22 guys on the field at a time instead of 10, right? Like it's much harder to be that. But he does seem to be that factor that when you look and pick these games, like my head is telling me 20 different things. But then I look and see Mahomes is still on the Chiefs. I got to take him.
I thought RC's tweet from a week ago when he talked about Burrow, Lamar, Josh Allen all going to the Hall of Fame with no rings. To me, that is the definition of Patrick Mahomes' greatness. Those three quarterbacks may go down as three of the greatest of all time, and they can't touch him. Yeah. That to me shows you how great he is.
Well, I saw someone on TV do an essay about that exactly. Oh, it was me last week. And those three guys are Charles Barkley, who made it to one finals, and Michael Jordan averaged 41 points a game in that final when the Suns had home court advantage and Barkley was the league MVP. Karl Malone, whose teams had home court advantage against the Bulls, and he went 0-2 against Michael in the finals. And who was Patrick Ewing. Do you know how many times Patrick Ewing played Jordan in the NBA playoffs? 5. Do you know how many times the Knicks won? 0. That's Josh Allen. So the point is, this is that team of rivals. This is exactly the way it's setting up. By the way, Mahomes is 29. When Jordan completed his first three-peat, he was 30. Ooh, the similarities are eerie.
Well, does Mahomes, is he going to go play baseball and give some other guys an opportunity to win? Like, I know he has his repertoire, but I would compare him more.
His dad was a baseball player.
Yeah, Major League Baseball player.
I would compare him more to Magic Johnson because his success is early. Remember, Michael Jordan had to go through the Pistons and Larry Bird, and he was losing. You know, this is early success. We've never seen somebody be so dominant so early in their career. Now, the question is, can he sustain it? Because when you talk about being the greatest of all time, Tom Brady, gets that because of the titles, but also the longevity of his dominance. Once his skills started diminishing physical, he started to win with his mind.
I think the answer is absolutely yes, guys. To me, they're ahead of schedule. Outside of Travis Kelce, who's their go-to receiver? The answer is we don't know. It's a grade of, it could be DeAndre Hopkins, it could be Hollywood Brown. And they moved on from Tyreek Hill, who, to me, unquestionably the most explosive player in the NFL, and they have not missed a beat. Imagine if they go out and get a bona fide number one receiver in his prime. It's really remarkable what they're doing with, really, outside of Travis Kelce, a group of fairly average skill players.
If you look at Brady's career, which is the football player to which he is going to be compared, Brady won a bunch of Super Bowls early. Then he went a decade without winning one, and then he started winning a bunch of them again. So Mahomes is way ahead of that schedule. So the answer to the question is this. If he wins the Super Bowl next weekend and retires the following day, which obviously is not going to happen.
Unlikely.
No, he's not the greatest of all time.
Right.
But what wouldn't you be willing to bet that by the time it's all said and done, he's going to be, because he is so far ahead of the pace that Brady was on at the same time.
But Bart's point is the key one. Like, how long do you sustain it?
Yeah.
How long do you want to? Right? That's the other thing. I mean, like, Brady is very exceptional, like, to want to play until age 45 because he burned inside to win like that. Like, is Patrick Mahomes still going to feel this way 10, 15 years from now? Like, we don't know, and I'll bet he doesn't either.
But that's why I say, you talk about the first three-peats, you talk about Magic, right? You talk about the 80s, how the 80s was pretty much the Celtics and the Lakers.
Pistons, and then the Pistons.
Yeah, and the Lakers and the Pistons, right? So is Josh Allen, is Lamar Jackson, are they the Michael Jordans that are learning how to win by losing to Michael Mahomes, losing to Mahomes, and then come back and learn how to beat Mahomes and his squad later in his career?
You know what's just fascinating to me in this conversation is you would say one of the reasons it could end is, well, Andy Reid's close to the end. But then you look at Pete Carroll. He's like 8 years younger than Pete Carroll. So, like,
He got something special in that chewing gum, though. I'll tell you that.
my point is, like, there's something special between, obviously, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. But I got to think, like, if I'm Andy Reid, like, if I was thinking about retirement, why would I give it up now? Like, I got great coordinators in place. I got a great core. So, to me, like, that kind of goes hand in hand, much the way we always talk about Belichick and Brady.
Andy just got a new extension last offseason. He's not going anywhere anytime soon, especially as long as this guy is his quarterback.
Yeah.
But, what they've built, even if Andy were to decide to go, and again, I don't think he is, I feel like they've built something there that could sustain. It's incredible to watch what they.
But you never know with these coaches because as you get older, it's just we're all fathers. You understand how much this game takes from you, and sometimes you want to give it back to the game. I think another conversation we should be having is Andy Reid potentially going to be the greatest coach of all time by the time this is all.
That's why I thought, people want to say Belichick wanted to come back to catch Shula. I almost think Belichick wanted to come back so Reid didn't catch him.
Right.
Which he's coming.
He's going to do.
As a corollary to this, have we ever seen in one division 4 coaches with the resume of Jim Harbaugh, Pete Carroll, Sean Payton, and Andy Reid?
No.
It's legendary.
The answer is no. It's the most wins by any division that had.
I mean, there's no weak link amongst those 4. I mean,
No, but they're all looking up at Reid and at Mahomes, and we will see if Mahomes is able to win another one come week from Sunday. Meanwhile, here's one more thing that I really find fascinating. So last week here I brought up the idea that Patrick Mahomes, on the cusp of a three-peat, is on the cusp of joining Michael Jordan. When did Michael become Michael? When he three-peated. Mahomes on the verge of doing that. Yesterday, Mahomes was asked what it's like to be compared to the likes of Jordan and Derek Jeter and Kobe Bryant. And here's what he said.
More than anything, is you see the competitors that they are, is that they're going to do whatever it takes to win. That's what you have to be in order to have success in professional sports, is a competitor, someone that's going to put in the work every single week. And watching them and listening to the things that they talk about, that's helped shape my career on how I have to work. And obviously, that's a long ways, I feel like, still for me to go to be mentioned with those guys, but I'll try to do whatever I can to be close enough as I can be.
It's the best answer you get.
It's unbelievable. It's perfect.
Because there's really no good way to answer. So they're comparing you to Michael Jordan. What do you think of that, Patrick? But he's 29 years old. When Michael three-peated the first time, Chris, he was 30. He is, this would be 4 Super Bowl championships, which would put him with Joe Montana and Terry Bradshaw, and looking up only at Tom Brady. Again, at the age of 29. Obviously you're on the radio every single day talking about this. What is your sense of what are the right things to say about Mahomes at this moment, and if he wins 9 days from now?
I think the comparisons to Michael Jordan are reasonable. I think it's fair to be having those conversations now because Patrick Mahomes has that same air of inevitability around him. Greeny, I looked this stat up. I couldn't believe it. Patrick Mahomes has trailed in the fourth quarter in every single Super Bowl he's played, and he's 3-1.
He trailed in overtime last year.
He trailed in overtime.
That's right.
So there's this inevitability that's around Patrick Mahomes that we asserted or we applied to Michael Jordan when he was at the height of his powers in the 90s. And when you think about this guy being in his 5th Super Bowl in the last 6 seasons, starting every season on conference championship game weekend, because that's where he's been as a starter every single year. It is absolutely incredible. We've never seen a start to an NFL career like this, ever.
And again, we talked about it earlier. Not only that, Chris, but again, who he's beating guys that are going to go down as all-time great quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson may be a 3-time MVP before the age of 30. Josh Allen, arguably the best quarterback today. And, oh, by the way, Joe Burrow. So, to me, the greatness, the context of what he's doing against who he's doing it against, to me, is a historic part of this.
For me, I compare him to Magic because Magic is the player that I can remember Showtime starting his career winning championships early. Michael Jordan had to go through a lot of pain. We never seen really Patrick Mahomes have to struggle. Now, I think maybe the Michael Jordan could be Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson when they figure out, if they figure out that test. But I feel like we have to see how this story ends. Patrick Mahomes' story has started off great. Let's see how it finishes because the story of the GOAT is about being great through a long period of time, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's doing what Jordan did in his peak, but he's doing it at the beginning.
Right.
But Mike T's point, you made this earlier about the trail of heartbreak that he leaves in his wake, right? These great players, the Karl Malones and Charles Barkleys of this era that never will get to taste victory if Mahomes continues to keep this up. Yeah, you got to admire it. Look, I know there's a lot of people out there that are bored with it, sick of it, want to see somebody else win, think they get all the calls, all that crap. Like, Mahomes is doing something special. One of the reasons I watch sports is to see stuff that's never been done before.
No doubt.
And that's
No
what's
doubt.
going on here, and I think you have to appreciate it.
Final word, Canty.
No, I'm with Graz on that one, so much so that I'm going to be in the building for Super Bowl 59 because I want to see if Patrick Mahomes can actually pull it off. This is an opportunity to do something that we've never seen in the Super Bowl era. And as somebody that's won a championship, I know how hard it is to fight against human nature, to do it every single year, to go through that grind, to rebuild your team, to start from zero and get back to the mountaintop. And knowing you have the bullseye on your back every single time you take the field.
I'm going to be at the game too. I just want to make sure I'm not sitting behind you. Can I see, just before we get to the break here, I need to know what seat you're in because I don't want to be watching the Super Bowl like, you know, what just happened? Chris Canty, Unsportsmanlike, every weekday on ESPN.
How's it going, everybody? Villa Sports Network here. Just want to thank you guys for your support on the channel. Thank you guys for watching the video. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I also want to kind of remind you to don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment on the video if you like as well. But regardless of the fact, thank you again for your support, and hope to see you on the next video.